Welcome to the Supporting Chaos podcast. I'm Sammy.
Sorry I'm late.
Of course you are.
Sorry I'm late.
What's on your shirt?
Could be throw up.
I think I have a stain remover. I think this is yours.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you have wipes. That'll do. Oh my gosh, guess what?
Let's hit record first. Welcome to the Supporting Chaos podcast. I'm Sammy.
And I'm Gracie.
And we're going to dive right in today, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I'm ready.
Normally, I feel like we have chit chat, but I am ready for this episode.
And if anybody can't find Sammy, she's right there.
I wore my camo today because we're going to war. Just kidding. We're going to be nice.
We are.
But I have something to talk about. But I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
Do I blend in?
Yeah, you can barely see you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a topic that I'm obviously very passionate about, which is fertility. But there's a recent podcast out there from Lauryn Bosstick with the Skinny Confidential, and she's interviewing Shannon Ford. And their topics are pregnancy, fertility, and fear mongering. And so this is an episode that really hits home for me.
Right now.
But also, unlike these women, I've actually been through both sides of it. I've been pregnant at the snap of my fingers, and I've also had to deal with 2 miscarriages. I'm gonna cry so early on this episode. I already call it miscarriages and fertility struggles of my own. Okay, we're pulling it together. But I do think it's an important conversation, and this will be a very different format for us in a way, because I think we'll use the talking points from their podcast to elaborate on and have an honest conversation about fertility, pregnancy.
She's been wanting to talk about it so much, and I've been like, just wait for the podcast,
Yes, and why your truth should be your truth without invalidating other women.
Yeah.
This is the conversations that we have all the time. There's a topic that seems to be trending. People are talking about it.
Well, and I think too, because of all your miscarriage struggles, and I haven't had it, we do have not different ideas, but different points of view of looking at it and what they said.
Totally. I mean, I do think I think even before my miscarriages, and I think you who haven't had the miscarriage, I think we've had a lot more empathetic approach than these ladies do. But it is, when you go through it, it's traumatic. It's harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And it does give a very different perspective. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this too, because I feel like these are the normal conversations that we have every day, and we finally can do it on the mic.
Yeah, we'll get heated.
And just, talk about it in, I feel like, a very open way. I'm also just going to put this out here. I have loved Lauryn. I've followed Lauryn Bosstick.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird podcast for you because you love her.
So I don't have a lot of celebrities that I like. I don't follow a lot of influencers, but I have followed Lauryn Bosstick for over a decade. It's been one of those things that my pre-motherhood self instill. And so there's been some other things like this recently that I've started to try to kind of see. Mm-hmm. But I'm sad about it.
Well, and I do think too, even with the Chapel Roan stuff with Alex Cooper, I think they have such big platforms that I think this is a good thing to break down, because they should be a little bit more careful sometimes about what they put out there in the world, because so many people are going to take it to heart.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a really hard thing, because you want to just speak your truth. And I mean, we're so small compared to them. But even
we'll definitely fuck up it sometimes.
Yeah, but even at the beginning of social media, we posted whatever we want, where now you do feel a little bit more buttoned up, and that does suck. I understand that. Mm-hmm. But I think she feels so strongly about these topics, and because she feels so strongly about topics that she hasn't been through, it is hard to feel so strongly and put these messages out to so many people.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lauryn Bosstick and Shannon Ford, I don't know much about her.
Yeah.
Do you?
I don't know anything about her.
Okay, so she's pregnant for the first time. It took her 6 months to get pregnant, and Lauryn Bosstick's whole thing that we'll get into is she got pregnant the first time trying for each time. Mm-hmm. And she feels so Shannon says that when she wanted to get pregnant right away, and then when it took her 6 months to get pregnant, and she was very nervous the whole time because she wanted to be pregnant like yesterday, like the day that she got married. And then when she got pregnant, she said she doesn't know if it was because she was 31. And then she starts to say, I have direct quotes because I really want to be factual with like what we're saying about them. So she says maybe because she was 31 or a lot of her friends had losses, which is probably part of the bigger thing. But
Yeah.
she kind of goes away from that. And, you know, people on the internet are talking about it a lot more for why she was so worried about having a miscarriage in your first trimester. Okay, so this is the important part. So this is when Lauryn Bosstick says, I think this is such an important subject to talk about, and I have such a strong opinion because there is a fixation on miscarriages and infertility, and we're fed so much content on miscarriages and infertility, and a lack of people who are motivating and inspiring on actual amazing stories. No one talks about, and remember that because we'll go back to this no one talks about. No one talks about getting pregnant on the first try or all the amazing stories because everyone's so scared triggering someone or hurting someone's feelings. So all we're getting fed is the negativity and fear mongering.
See, I kind of feel like the opposite. I feel like people don't talk about miscarriages enough. And that's why it's so shocking to so many people. I think we all have, like, there is something in you, like, when in your mind, like, at least for me, when I did get pregnant, I was like, oh, I can get pregnant. But I really don't think there's enough education about miscarriages and how common it is because I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that, like, 1 in 4 women are going to have a miscarriage. Like, I didn't know how common it was. And so I kind of don't agree with that because I feel like there's a lot of, 2 under 2. Oh, like, you know, like, there's not.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's really interesting. So this is my whole thing, if we're just going to put it out there, and we're going to talk about this all, obviously, is what upsets me about what Lauryn is saying, and not upsets me, but what I think is hurtful, is women are finally starting to talk about it.
Yeah.
So trying to, and there's still not a lot. So trying to say that a woman sharing her content on her truth, if she had fertility issues or miscarriages, which most people aren't sharing.
Yeah.
Saying that is negative and fear-mongering is just going to try to silence more women when we're finally having these productive conversations.
I mean, honestly, what's fear-mongering, too, is saying, don't tell anybody that you're pregnant until 12 weeks.
Yes.
Okay. In case you have a miscarriage.
Yes. So, I mean, I think being nervous, and I know that I really want you to talk about this, too, is when you get pregnant, feeling nervous about a miscarriage, I think is normal.
Yeah, I do too.
Because you felt that way, right?
Yeah, the whole time I was like Googling the % chance of like a miscarriage as I went on. I remember being at like 10 weeks and be like, okay, I'm at 80%. Like,
so what do you think that stemmed from?
I don't think it was a fear of like, because I didn't really see a lot of people have miscarriage. I was 23 and I like wasn't in that phase of life. I think it was almost like can my body really do this? Like, can I really create a life? Like,
Yeah.
is my body going to work for me? That's really like what I think it stemmed from.
Yeah. It wasn't that you were being served content
No.
about
I knew nothing about a miscarriage.
Yeah. And I remember actually having a conversation because our aunt, who's like a mom to us, and our mom, every motherly figure in my life also has had a miscarriage, which I just want to add that. Sorry, a little off topic, because I feel like she's acting like this is all new.
Yeah.
But the difference is women are talking about it. Our mom had a miscarriage, had a stillbirth before I was born. She did. My aunt, who is like a mom.
Yeah.
Our Nana. So literally, Susan, who's like every woman that I know. And I will tell you, if you ever publicly talk about a miscarriage or a loss, you will be shocked the amount of people in your life. And I'm not trying to scare people. This is just like facts who have had it. And my point is, these people don't talk about it because, like you said, we're not even supposed to announce we're pregnant until we're 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So then let's say you had a miscarriage at 8 weeks, then you're hiding it.
It's like so fucked up because you almost feel and I've never had one, so I can't like really speak on this, but like it's almost like you feel ashamed.
Yeah.
Like, and that's by saying like don't tell people by 12 weeks. It's being like, if you have this huge life altering event that happens to you, like, shut up about it.
Yeah.
And like,
because I remember you and I kind of getting annoyed at Shannon, who's our aunt, who, when we got pregnant, was like, oh, well, just like kind of
so nonchalant about,
And that kind of hurt our feelings because we were excited, and she didn't mean it in any like negative way. Now I look back and see her delivery could have used a little bit, but it was also traumatic for her. She's had two.
Yeah.
And so that's the part that I just think, and this is, again, like I'm not trying to scare people, but this is the reality, is there are people who are not talking about this. And for her to say that all you are fed is infertility and miscarriage content is so wild to me. Like, this is an experiment. Do you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Okay. You're a great example because I think she says from the ages of, I don't know, you're 22 to 35, all you're doing is being fed miscarriage and content. So go to your like personal Instagram, and you're not looking at fertility stuff right now, I assume. Like, you're not looking at pregnancy stuff right now, I assume. So I'd like you to scroll your feed and tell me how many times you see someone who is pregnant, someone doing pregnancy content, someone doing a pregnancy announcement.
Glimmers gummies, woo!
Glimmers gummies. Versus how many times you're
is that a mom thing, though? It's literally a mom thing. Okay, there's one. Us.
Well, so like pregnancy, though. Like someone who's pregnant.
Let's see. Apparently, I just follow us. Hold on, you go there. Baby.
Okay.
Baby announcement.
Baby announcement.
Justin Bieber, baby announcement.
Baby announcement. Have you been fed anything?
Baby announcement. Baby announcement.
So think of, this is something, again, I never realized until I had my miscarriage.
Baby announcement. That is wild.
It is. And so we just jumped right in, which is, I love it. But so I've had both experiences. So for my first two, I literally got pregnant the first time I tried with Dawson. My husband wasn't even totally on board yet. Like, we had like talked about it once and boom. And then with my second, we were going to Belize and I wanted to get pregnant afterwards. So it was like 4 weeks before, and I was like, well, I won't even know anyways. So we literally, like, one time before going there, I remember the last day in Belize, I'm in this hot tub and it's so hot and I hadn't started my period yet, which was very weird for me to even bring tampons on a trip.
Yeah.
I came back and I took a pregnancy test. That day, actually showed my mother-in-law who was watching Dawson before I even told my husband. So literally both times got pregnant
right away
that time. And I will say nothing changed about my mindset between these two and the third. I really never thought I was going to be someone who a miscarriage happened to. I don't know why. And so when you're scrolling...
It's actually funny, but not funny. But that, like, you're the one that had the miscarriage because I'm the one that was so nervous about it the whole time. Even, like, so when she found out she was pregnant with Cooper, we were trying for my second for, like, 7 months at that point. She called me. I took a negative pregnancy test. Then she called me and told me she was pregnant. And then the next morning, I was like, let me just try one more time. And I took a positive test.
So I've seen both sides. So if you, for 1 second, think that you are fed more for infertility and miscarriage content versus pregnancy announcements, people being pregnant, babies, I mean, that is such a wild statement, and it is so inaccurate with the statistics. That is a real statistic.
Yeah.
1 out of 4 pregnancies.
Well, and I feel like I've been a mom for 7 years, and I've been consuming a lot of like I know all these baby tricks and, you know, like so much baby stuff. But when you had the miscarriage, I really just didn't like. I was even kind of like, this is really eye-opening because I'm getting educated on it for the first time ever.
Yeah.
After being in the mom space for 7 years.
It is a very lonely and isolating experience, and I was very fortunate, I think, to have supporting chaos because when I posted it, my DMs were just flooded. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
saw, we shared an account
Yeah.
with women who had been through it, who wanted to talk about it, who, I mean, I remember searching hashtags right after my miscarriage because I wanted to find some videos of people to talk to and relate. I
Yeah.
had to go seek it out.
Yeah.
And when I got all these messages who truly, like, pretty crying, but
Okay. It's
like,
okay to cry.
these women who messaged me supported me
Mm-hmm.
and really, really got me through it. And so, which is why I don't make a lot of content in it, but I do try to make content on it as a way to, like, pay it forward.
Yeah.
Because, and we still get messages all the time from people who are like, thank you for posting it because I knew to go find you
Yeah.
when this
I sent my
happened.
sister your account. She just went through it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't realize how, and so for her, I think for her to just throw that out there, of course, I immediately was like, oh, am I being negative by posting this?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like the big sister got into me of all my supporting chaos moms who I do feel
Yeah.
like this big sister vibe. And it's like, no, they deserve to talk about this. They
Yeah.
deserve to have a safe place to share their truth
Yeah.
that is not negative. I've had 2 miscarriages now, but before that, I had pregnancies just like Lauryn Bosstick. I have posted about those pregnancies. I have told people, I've told people my
Yeah.
stories. This isn't hiding my truth of getting pregnant right away. Tell your story, share your truth if you want to, but don't share it at the same time saying, oh, you can't share your stories.
Yeah. If anything, I feel like that it made people not want to share their miscarriages more, which is like, that's not what we need. We kind of need the opposite so that people can, like me, get more educated on how common it is. So, like, you know, let's say I do go for a fourth and I have a miscarriage. I think understanding, like, it's not, because, like you said, it's such an isolating thing. It's not, you're not alone.
Yeah.
It's so common and nothing's wrong with you. Like, I know I feel like a bitch talking about it right now. Even like when I was trying with Mila for 7 months, like every single month where I got that negative pregnancy test, I was like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, why?
But it's not like, but that's where I think you come from, a place of like empathy and like, hey, oh my gosh, that was so hard for me. I think of these other women and I'm not trying to just be PC and not trigger people. I just don't want to be insensitive.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Because this isn't like 1 out of every 1 millionth pregnancy. This is 1 out of 4.
Yeah. It's like,
and it's not like these are actual facts.
you, your sister, your mom, somebody is gonna had one or is going to have one. And communicating about it, I feel like is such a huge thing. To like, I don't know.
And I do agree. So there's they talk about like having a positive mindset, and she's saying that all these girls are just constantly being fed infertility and miscarriage content. And I do agree with the fact of like, if you are 25 years old,
I was about to make that point.
then I don't know if you are being fed it, then you need to change your algorithm.
Yeah.
Which that's up to you.
Also, I do think her age when she got pregnant is really interesting because, like, at 31, I feel like she was just probably seeing more miscarriages because people were having them.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, at 23, I was still scared and I didn't see anybody having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Like,
so, and I think that's motherhood. I mean, it's really funny too, because at the end of the podcast, and I have quotes, because again, I like really want to come into this like very factual, but they start talking about what it's going to be like when she has this baby, Shannon, because she hasn't had a baby yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell, and I don't know anything about her, honestly, but you can tell that there's other times where she kind of hints at maybe having some anxiety.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so she says, she's talking about when the baby's born. She says, I hope I'm not really on the edge. Like, is she awake? Is she breathing? But that's maternal, I spend my life worrying about my girls. Oh, she was talking about her friend said, I spend my life worrying about my girls. Like, when does it stop? And her mom said, "It's inside of us. We're always concerned and worried about our children." And I think for a lot of people like you,
Yes.
that started for you when you got pregnant.
Yeah.
And that's maternal. It is not that you are being fed fear-mongering content.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah, no, social media is mostly a highlight reel, so it's all positivity.
Yeah.
Again, that's like that's like common knowledge. That's not like, yeah.
And so it's just that I think that is like what I really find hurtful about what she's saying is like I just don't want to silence women anymore.
I also think it's very interesting too because, and I don't hope this for her, but if she has a second and does have a miscarriage, I really don't believe she would just be like quiet and not say anything about it. I feel like in that, like having a platform too, I feel like she probably should if she wants to. Like, but that's sharing your truth. If you want to talk about it, you should talk about it. If you want to talk about it because you think it's going to empower other people or help other people going through the same thing, you should talk about it. But by saying, share your truth about this, but can we stop doing this? That's telling people not to tell their truth.
Yes, exactly.
Don't be like, hey, we're all telling our truth and you're not.
So why is your truth inspiring and amazing, but my truth is fear-mongering?
Yeah.
Like, and negative. And that was the other thing. And
It's like saying someone that's like has an account about being like a widow is like fear-mongering.
Yeah. I mean, it's, dude, you're good.
Yeah.
You've got enough love.
You're fine.
You're
Yeah.
good. That's not the point.
That's not the point. And I think too you have a good point of like, it's not, maybe some of this podcast too is her talking from her fear.
So it's really interesting. And again, there's no one else I have followed like her.
Mm-hmm.
I have bought her products. I have clicked her links. I have been a very, very loyal follower.
Yeah.
And she's very upset about everyone is triggered by everything.
Yeah.
And I just find it really funny because she's like, again, this part about, okay, no one talks about getting pregnant on the first try or all the amazing stories because everyone's so scared about triggering someone or hurting someone's feeling. So all we're getting fed is the negativity and fear-mongering. There are so many amazing stories from people who have gone through infertility or have had a miscarriage. I mean, I find those stories amazing and positive.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
I do. I think I understand her like first part, but not. Then she lost me. Like how I think she like being like, yeah, I got pregnant first try all 3 times.
Then you stop.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like her being like, I'm afraid to say that. I don't want to be afraid to say that in case somebody feels bad about that. Like I understand like what she's saying. Like we should tell these women too that they might get pregnant the first time, but also then like the second part is what I'm like, wait, no, you just twisted that.
Yes. Like, I mean, I know because again, before my miscarriages, I always count us together and it sounds like we're like married, but we had 4 babies.
Yeah.
We had 5 babies between us.
Yeah.
And we've shared our pregnancy stories. We've shared on podcast. We've talked about these things. But I do think the difference is we probably have said, we had great experiences. We were lucky. Like we might have said something like that. And I don't think that is a terrible thing to say, especially given the statistic. And that is a real thing.
And I think you say, hey, I've had 3 babies first try. I'm so grateful for my fertility journey. I'm not taking it for granted. Mic drop. That's it. Like,
And if you want to share some things that you think really helped with your fertility, like our friend Carly, she's done things like that. Great. Those are positive, great tips. But but adding in the other part, it's like, okay, are you triggered?
Yeah.
Because why else do you need to add that in?
Yeah.
Oh, this was another thing. So again, like where you kind of start to pick up, again, I know nothing about Shannon, but so when she was talking about how she was very nervous in her first trimester, again, I think that's a very universal experience for a lot of people. I
Oh my gosh, when
wasn't.
she said the thing about every time she had any discharge, she was like, it's
Yes.
blood. My entire pregnancy, every pregnancy.
It made me immediately think of you. And again, this was 7 years ago when there was no content out there about.
I mean, every time I went to the bathroom, I looked in the toilet to make sure there's not blood.
Yeah, and then I was never worried. Look at me.
Yeah, yeah. See?
You literally.
And before I became an influencer, I didn't watch any influencers either, so I really was not influenced to be nervous like that.
This is what she also said. Yeah, this just came natural to her to have this anxiety. So
anxiety came from within. I'm very proud of it. My original anxiety.
Oh my God. So she says what got her through her first trimester of being nervous and the negative content, whatever that she had, was going on Reddit and seeing like other people saying, okay, I was cramping, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, if you are on Reddit trying to get positive advice,
literally,
you're searching for this.
With me at 6 months, I Googled infertility second time around, and there was there's like a name for it.
So she was supposed to have her second time around.
And I was like, yep, I have that. I have that.
I remember
whatever it's called. I literally called a fertility clinic, and they were like, you need to go a year trying. And I was like, okay.
I don't think you told me that part.
Yeah, I was like, yep, I have this.
So this is the best.
But people with anxiety really fuck themselves when they go and search to make it worse.
So she said
going to Reddit
so okay. And again, I know I'm like reading, but I wanted to make sure I have their quotes because I'm not gonna like twist this. Other people can twist, but I'm not twisted. But so okay, she says that she was thinking about calling, and she called it infertility. So I love that you just said fertility because I go to a fertility clinic and it's fertility. It's positive.
Yeah, it's good.
But she said something like that. Okay, so she thought about going to an infertility doctor, but she wasn't going to step foot because it would be in her mind. So at 6 months, you're already thinking about going to, in her words, an infertility doctor. You said fertility. You thought that even your second time around.
Yeah.
Honey, I don't want to diagnose you, but you might. You know?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the content of people from people sharing their fertility journeys or miscarriages
it's exactly what she said that mom said. It's some people it's worse, but it is a part of being a mother.
Mm-hmm. So this is also, Lauryn Bosstick just says, she is in the belief that when you want something in your life, no matter what it is, you need to surround yourself with abundance. And that's how she got pregnant with all 3 on her first try.
That's annoying. That's annoying. Like, that makes my heart hurt for all of the people listening to that podcast that are having fertility issues or going through miscarriage or whatever, because that's almost like you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
When it's not your fault. It's so common, 1 in 4 pregnancies.
And there is a part of me that even kind of thought that. And I will say, I do have a very positive mindset. I have had people say to me, now that if you don't know, I had a miscarriage February 2024, February 2025, and we're going through IVF, endometriosis. I have this surgery coming up. So like we're finding answers. And people have said things to me like, if it happens. And I have actually corrected them. Yeah. And I said, it will happen. And I have a very, don't you feel like I have a pretty positive mindset given what I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
And so it really hurts me for the people who I think are more wired for anxiety.
Yeah.
Who are going through this and having to hear that. Because even me, who again, I do feel pretty like posy vibes as much as you can be, it made me step back for a second and think.
Yeah. And I just think like, okay, that in addition to don't tell people until you're 12 weeks, what are we doing? Are we trying to make these women feel like it's their fault? Are we trying to make it shameful?
Yeah. It really makes you think.
Like, that's so gross.
When I posted about my miscarriage, I was shocked about the people who I saw in my everyday life, family, friends, who I had no idea experienced it.
Yeah.
And
And the amount of times you see, like, a rainbow baby come out and you're like, they post
what?
a rainbow baby. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were going through that. Like,
But all you're doing is being served fertility or infertility and
yeah.
miscarriage content. So it's so weird.
Yeah, it's so
that you
weird.
only see positive. Oh, wait.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
With the 1 in 4, I think this was a very eye-opening moment. So my first miscarriage, February 2024, I was going in for my DNC, and of course I wanted like a 4th ultrasound before it just to make sure, holding on to some type of hope because I had a positive mindset, even though I saw the baby didn't have a freaking
With my
heartbeat.
first, I somehow convinced my doctor that it was a high-risk pregnancy at 23, and so I got ultrasounds all the time.
I think just me and you, like our personalities have completely debunked
Yeah.
her theory. But I remember sitting there and I really liked my doctor in Kansas City, and she shows me the ultrasound again and she's like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
here you go. There's no heartbeat. So, we're going to move forward. And I said, I just can't believe this is happening. Like, I was shocked. And she looked at me and she said, I know. And she actually has had a miscarriage too. But she said, this is what is crazy about my job is how often I'm here.
Yeah.
It is 1 in
Well,
4.
and it's 1 in 4 pregnancies,
Pregnancies,
not women.
Yeah. Pregnancies.
Yeah.
And that moment, I remember just being like, I never, you go to your OBGYN
Yeah.
and you think they're delivering babies and positive news. And she just looked at me and said, and I know her, she of course has a story. And so because I also thought to her, like, God, how triggering.
Yeah.
If 1 in 4 of the pregnancies that you see at your clinic, you're dealing with miscarriages. But that was definitely eye-opening, I think, of how.
But the amount of times she's also probably been there and like known what to say.
Yeah, she's honestly, and I told her that I get really close with my people sometimes.
Yeah.
And I said, she was a really good doctor too, in a way, because of what she's been through.
Yeah.
But I just, it's one of those moments that I can picture perfectly laying in there. When she said that to me, it was just very eye-opening because I had never thought about that. I had thought about her job as seeing people pregnant, like doing a pap smear, delivering babies. I never even considered it.
Yeah.
So Shannon also said, they're talking about freezing her eggs, and she said she wasn't consuming content that was like, better freeze your eggs, better freeze your eggs. So because she wasn't consuming that, it didn't infiltrate her brain and make her think, better freeze my eggs. I guess because she was saying that she felt the pressure to freeze her eggs. And so Lauryn Bosstick was like, yeah, because it's a business. Like, it's wild.
Oh, yeah. She like referred to like the fertility clinics as like a business.
And this is also just, again, wild experience that I would not have any knowledge on, and except for I've gone through it. The fertility clinic and my doctors who I have worked with have been, because I'm skeptical of a lot of doctors sometimes.
Yeah.
I've maybe listened to too much of Lauryn Bosstick's content. I might need to rethink that. But I don't just take everything that they say.
Yeah.
But the fertility clinic and the people who I've worked with, first off, it's like 100% women.
Yeah.
100% women. A lot of them have stories. And it is so different than like a normal OBGYN or doctor's appointment. It has been nothing but empowering.
Yeah.
For me. And again, that is my truth. Nobody needs to freeze their eggs.
Yeah.
No. But when I turned 35, I started to get nervous because I wanted a big family. And I don't like to have anxiety. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to freeze my eggs. So I just don't even have to worry about it.
Like, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that anybody has to do that, but
if you want to and it's going to give you an extra peace of mind, then do it.
Yes, it's not fear-mongering. It's not saying that you have to. We finally have choices.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law wanted to get pregnant for 5 years.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a big Italian family too, where all these babies are coming in for 5 years? Every single month she would just cry. And they didn't have a fertility clinic to go to. She didn't have all these tests that we have. So every single month for 5 years, this is what she had to deal with.
I can imagine.
I truly can't imagine. That would have wrecked me.
That would have wrecked me.
The fact that I can, we're never in control of this journey, which is something I'm working with my therapist on, but the fact that I can feel proactive.
Yeah.
And that I am heard and I'm speaking with this specialist. This endometriosis place is literally incredible. It looks like a Botox studio, by the way. They gave me a robe to take home.
The place that I got my hormones test gave me a robe too. Yeah.
It's like we finally are having these places that are advocating for us and that we have options.
Yeah.
And for them to
and for the first time ever to be like, hey, let's figure this out together. You don't have to be alone in this.
Yes.
It's like huge, insane.
It's huge. And I think it's opening up conversations about women's health that was not taken seriously for so long.
Yeah.
And that is because women are having these conversations and advocating for it and talking about fertility and talking about miscarriages and talking about IVF. And it's just wild. Like, I just don't.
I do think there is something insane there about I'm just really in my head right now about how much we are really putting this on the women. Literally in this podcast was my first time I was like blown away just now. I was like thinking about how we are making people feel bad for it somehow. Has anybody asked Mario what he's doing wrong?
That's like
That's insane.
Yeah.
Why does our society love to shit on women?
I actually saw a video of this, and I think it was from Helen Hall. And again, I follow her. I want her content. This isn't negative. In fact, she's a very kind of positive person. And she was just talking about that. She was like, she had a miscarriage. She's very healthy. She invented blender bombs. All the positive mindset.
You're not doing anything wrong. When I got pregnant with my first at 23, I was doing all the bad things and eating shit. So
there's people that get pregnant on meth.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I literally, how I got pregnant.
I don't recommend that.
I was not on meth, for the record. But how I got pregnant is I stopped taking my birth control for 3 days and then took all 3 pills one day, and that doesn't work. So if anybody's body wasn't set up for pregnancy at the time, it was probably mine.
Yeah, look at you.
And yes, you're not doing anything wrong. But my point is I'm talking my truth.
Yeah.
In a way that can also empower other women of hey, it's not you.
Yeah.
And that's what I think she's doing wrong. She's talking her truth in a way that bashes other people's truth.
100%. If you think there needs to be more conversation, sorry, I'm not laughing, but if you think there needs to be more content out there about getting pregnant the first time, then put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, I've had a really great experience. This is what happened to me.
Yeah.
Period. Done.
Yeah.
But if you don't think women, we just did scrolling your feed, it is not proportionate and it is not favoring the negative infertility miscarriage side.
Imagine commenting on somebody's baby announcement, be like, that's great, but can you talk about miscarriages a little bit more? It's wild.
We are finally going the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why her comments really, I just feel is 10 steps back for women.
Yeah.
So her thing again is having a positive mindset. She says, if you are constantly saying I can't get pregnant, that narrative is in your head, is what she was telling Shannon for that 6 months that she tried. We have to see the pendulum on the other side too. A lot of people have had a lot of successful stories getting pregnant. Yeah, we know. We scroll the feed.
There's kids everywhere.
There's kids everywhere. Yeah, you scroll your feed.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah. Again, we've had 5 pregnancies before my 2 miscarriages.
And we've talked about that,
we
too.
didn't hide them.
Yeah. And, like, our sister, too, had one. So we talked about, like, we had 6 babies, and we literally were like, can't believe it's right now that we're finally experiencing.
Yeah.
Statistically, one of those 6
I thought I
should've
was
been one.
immune. I don't, like, and I think maybe that's
I
what
thought I was just getting
You
by
thought
by
you
the
were-
luck of God. I didn't know what some angel was out to take me.
I think we just need to march into Lauryn Bosstick's office and say, listen, this is why you're wrong.
If you want to compare your notes to somebody, look at me.
She had a negative mindset.
The worst
and no
mindset.
miscarriages. I had a positive mindset and 2 miscarriages. I do really try to stay in a positive headspace, but not a toxic positive headspace.
Yeah.
There has to be some, like, reality with it. I mean, when I had my miscarriage, I'm telling you, I can promise you, it was not my mindset. The baby had a genetic abnormality,
Yeah.
which is 40% of miscarriages. It's the most popular one.
Okay, but
that
the
made
fact
the
that
baby,
you need to say this
No.
is the problem.
that made the baby incompatible with life. That has, if I had the worst mindset or the best mindset, that wouldn't have changed.
Yes.
I'm going to switch my mindset and really come from a place to abundance and just say, I can get pregnant. Everything is happening for me. And then she also talks about, this is like the fear mongering that I feel like are just the exaggeration, even though the internet is making it feel impossible to get pregnant, is what she's saying. That's what she sees.
I think she just created that.
I know. So that's
like,
what
the internet's not doing that.
and if that's what you're getting from scrolling, again, why are you triggered?
I mean, the amount of DMs, though, that we got after your miscarriages that was like, thank you so much for sharing this, because nobody talks about it.
We still, like,
so many.
and I know that to be true because, again, when I had my miscarriage, I searched for it.
Yeah.
We've actually talked about this in motherhood, too, about people who aren't moms saying that motherhood content, like, scares them and makes them be negative. Listen to our other episode.
Is something that, like, I think a lot of women wonder if they can ever get pregnant or not. And I think that has nothing to do with the concept you're consuming.
I remember thinking that, like, when I got pregnant first time trying, I remember being like, phew.
Yeah.
I can get pregnant.
Because, I mean,
Yay.
having kids is a big part of your, like, if you want kids, it's a big part of your story. And so having fear that might not happen is so normal. Like,
so
having fear you might not ever get married, or having fear you might not find the one.
So normal. And we had these same thoughts before there was any
the
content on that. And so that is, I think, the biggest point is these are kind of like normal things in life.
It's not the content that's making you nervous, and but that the podcast blames it on that for some reason.
It blames it on that, and I think the big problem with that, again, is silencing women who are finally talking about it. And I don't care if she thinks it's negative. Like, I need to do it. This is when I cry. It's like, I do want to post videos for those people.
Yeah.
Because, like, I felt like almost guilty when I had my first miscarriage that I had that platform, because I laid in bed and I just talked to women. I literally, like, laid in bed eating food, watching, and just had, like, message women, and it was so validating. And, like, I always have you and other people too, but it was really nice to talk to women who've been through it.
Yeah.
And who told me, so many women would send me a picture even of their rainbow baby.
Yeah.
And, like, that to me was inspiring.
Yeah.
That was positive. And I love when people do that. Like, it reminds you that it's, like, all going to be worth it.
But, like, also, so, like, you coming out and talking about how you're feeling right now during your miscarriage, to even, like, view that as negative, because it's not. It's positive because it's validating somebody else that's probably going to be going through it too. And to look at it as negative is wild, because it's not negative. It's comforting for so many women, and we have proof of that in our DMs. You know, like, that's not a negative
and
thing.
it's also, like, there's, and again, I actually wish I made more videos. I'd love to at least do, like, a video, like, once a month, just to make sure that, I do feel this, like, like I owe it, but not in like a negative way. Like I like the accountability to like pay it forward because that was so big for me.
It also, I remember, like you saying too, like, it felt good to finally talk about it.
Yes. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Is I do feel like I've had a lot of trauma in my life and a lot of trauma that I just was told wasn't valid and wasn't real and buried, never dealt with things. I was always helping other people, never dealing with my own shit. And I talk about this a lot. My first miscarriage, especially. My second one, I kind of buried again, but we'll get into that later. But it was really an eye-opening experience because it was so traumatic. And I talked about this before, but like I sound like such a bitch right now, but I don't think I really thought it was going to be as hard as it was.
Yeah.
And not that I ever thought again like I was going to have one, but I kind of thought when someone would have a miscarriage, I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Try again.
Yeah.
It was traumatic and hard, and I'm someone who's been through a lot of traumatic and hard shit.
Well, and why do you think you felt that way? Because you didn't see enough. You didn't hear enough about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I learned a shit ton through your miscarriage.
That's actually true. And that's such a good point. And I had a lot of messages from people telling me, like, it's really nice to hear that you're saying that it was so hard.
Yeah.
Because I think because I'll never forget this one message someone sent that was like, I always felt like other women, there was kind of like, oh yeah, it just happens.
Yeah.
And I felt silly for being so upset about it.
Yeah.
And again, we all suffer in silence. We hide it. We don't say we're pregnant even until 12 weeks. So most people don't even know.
Well, and if you see somebody's talking about a miscarriage and it seems negative to you because you're trying to get pregnant or something, like you're saying, scroll past that.
Yes. Unfollow,
whatever you need to do. But it's also so positive because it is so validating to hear, I feel this way.
Yes. The content is not to try to scare a 25-year-old that she can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
The content is to have the conversations that we need to be having and make people not feel alone.
Yeah.
You call your doctor and I'll never forget. I'm like, I'm pregnant. Yeah, I'm coming in. And they're like, we can't see you for another month or something. And you're like, what?
So you're not allowed to tell anybody. You can't go
see your
confirm
doctor.
it. And then
if you have a miscarriage on top of it.
you have a miscarriage and it's like, suck it up, you're fine. Like,
and if you actually talk about it, then you're fear mongering and it's negative.
And this is also something that I learned after Sammy's miscarriage is you also are still postpartum.
Yes.
And so like you're having the postpartum hormones, like everything without a baby, and you're also suffering that in silence. And people are like, "Oh, you're gonna try again?"
I literally never even thought about that until you just said it. But I do think that is why it was so much harder when it happened to me because I didn't know. Wait, what was I saying?
That you have a postpartum. You're postpartum.
I had no idea that you were going to be postpartum afterwards.
I had no idea.
And how that felt. Like, it was just all so shocking to me when it happened as someone who is in the motherhood space and does consume this type of content because of what we're in. And it was shocking to me.
And there has to be something to, like, maternal in your body, too, that can... Like, I know, like, with you, like, had a hard time. Like, you didn't bleed.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there is something really there. Like, your body has those pregnancy hormones in your body. You're having that. You're, like, almost... Like, when you get pregnant, I swear... That's what I was talking to my friend the other day because she's pregnant. And her husband, she was like, he's kind of having a hard time, like, wrapping his head around. Like, and I was like, yeah, because when you get pregnant... That's when you become a mother.
Yes.
For women. Dads, it takes longer when they see the baby, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you feel it.
Yeah.
You are, like, protective. You understand, like, this is your baby. So even though it's, like, you know, even if you have a miscarriage at 4 freaking weeks, you had a baby. Your body recognized you had a baby, and there's got to be...
And that motherly instinct that they're talking about that is okay when your baby's there starts.
Yeah. And people are saying, well, it was before 12 weeks, so...
Yeah.
That's normal.
I had a friend, a close friend recently who just had a chemical pregnancy, and I was texting her about it, and fortunately, It's my little silver lining, at least, that I can. But I've talked to a lot of women now about this, and that was the first thing I said. I said, you being sad is valid.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it was, you only knew you were pregnant for one day. Like, and she was just like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
like it's.
Well, and like, I'm not good at science, so I'm going to say scientifically, but I don't really know what it is. Psychologically, whatever it is, physically and mentally, you were pregnant. You had the hormones.
It was such a while. Like, I can't explain it, and I still feel this way. Again, now I've had years of this, like and now I'm going through IVF, which I wasn't at the beginning, but the only way to explain it is like, I've never felt physical confusion in such a way.
Yeah.
Of like feeling pregnant and postpartum. Like, I would have dreams like I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then not be.
Yeah.
Like, it was. And, even you drink a glass of wine or a bottle of wine, you drink a bottle of wine, let's be honest. You just had a miscarriage.
You can drink a bottle of wine if you have a miscarriage. No one will judge you.
Like, oh my God, I'm such a bad, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, oh, I can't. Like,
yeah.
It's so confusing, not to mention the hormone drop is the exact same as being postpartum.
Well, I'm guessing this probably happened to you, but I'm just thinking, like, if it happened to me, I'd just be eating myself alive, like, what happened?
Yeah.
What was the reason for this?
I think not the best. I hope no one is in this spot, but if you are, really ask to do the genetic testing, because I do think with my first miscarriage, when we're still trying to figure it out with my next one, which was even more shocking in ways, but my third miscarriage, or my third pregnancy, first miscarriage, we did the genetic testing, and getting that result back
was validating.
Yeah. And that was like the first thing my doctor said, again, who's been through it, sees this all the time, and both of them actually have said that to me. The first thing both doctors have said, who are women and have been awesome and empowering, have said, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Both times. That was like the first thing that they say.
Yeah. And I do think there is something there with society.
Wait, but I thought it was my mindset.
No, it's not your mindset. Your mindset's great. No, but like, just like everything on top of like this, like even like being like when women get pregnant, even being like, oh, I'm glad I can't get pregnant. My mind's just being blown like over and over again during this conversation. So I'm like coming back to some points, but even like a guy, there's not one guy that gets a girl pregnant and is like, oh, thank God. Yeah. I can do this. So what are we doing? What are we doing as a society to females, making them feel like somehow this thing that is so common is on them, and they need to be quiet and suffer quietly as their body experiences like a fucking roller coaster of emotions, pain, like so many things.
There's definitely some resentment that, and I think I'm very not lucky. Every husband should be like that, but I will say I'm very thankful, because my husband really steps up with the things that he can.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have depressive weeks, like especially at the beginning, where I wasn't waking up to drive my kids to school, and he was doing it and not ever giving me shit for it. So I do sometimes look at him and feel like, he's sad that he lost the baby, but it's not the same.
Yeah. It's like
my weight has fluctuated 35, 40 pounds, which, whatever, that's like the small part of it, but that still sucks. My hormones are a mess. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had postpartum, like, mom rage.
But I also think what you just said about, like, Mario, too, is really important, because by him letting you lay in bed and by picking up the other things, that's also validating that you are. And there's probably so many women that have had miscarriages that were just really struggling and needed to do that. But society said, no, keep going. You can do this, because nobody shares about that.
And I've actually thought of that. And I will say how I handled both miscarriages was different too. And I think everybody grieves differently. Mm-hmm. And my first one, I really just needed space to process and
that
think
this could happen to
and
you.
Feel.
Yeah.
And my second one, I do feel like just wanted to kind of be busier.
Yeah.
And I think it's also just, I mean, I've been through so much and I still, we're hopefully going to I've got a surgery on Tuesday, hopefully doing an egg retrieval or a transfer July or August. Like, I still have to go through I've done first trimesters twice. I still have to do this whole thing again.
And the mental...
It's not until next summer at the earliest that I can have,
But then also, like, the mental pressure, not pressure, but, like, the struggle that, comes with getting pregnant again and being concerned for that pregnancy next. Like, I'm sure, like, one of my friends who had a miscarriage, she was like, and she has a lot of anxiety like I do. Yeah. But she was very, like, for my pregnancies, once I finally got pregnant, it sucked some of, like, the joy out of, because I was so nervous the whole time.
And I think, like, so our sister Eliza, and I think she'd be okay with me saying this, she just had her rainbow baby. And that whole pregnancy, I mean, she came over at 8 months or 7 months I had a Doppler, it didn't work, Amazon, to check it because she was still nervous there. And I feel like that's
one of my husband's
hard
friends just told us that they were pregnant, and he goes, yeah, but it's still, like, really early. She's just, like, 6 weeks, so we'll give it a few more weeks and see. And I was like, they've had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Because if you say it like that.
Yeah, and I think, again, maybe I'm just stupid, but, like, so my next pregnancy, the fourth pregnancy, this is the first one that I did IVF for. And I definitely had a little bit more anxiety than I had before, which I think is natural, but I still didn't think I was going to have a miscarriage. I mean, because of the genetic testing, I felt like I eliminated the problem with the first baby. There was less than a 3% chance. And my doctor was very positive, very empowering. I think everything just looked so good.
You had 2 healthy pregnancies before,
I was almost even more shocked for that one in a way.
Yeah.
I guess I can't say that because the first one I was shocked just because I was like, this
what?
doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
I'm like Lauryn Bosstick. I just get
I would have
everything
been like,
so easily.
finally, I knew.
I did it. I was shocked too because I don't know. So I just really don't think it was my mindset.
Yeah, it was not your mindset. That's an insane thing to say.
That's what I'm trying to say. Speaking of insane things to say, this is my other favorite part. So they do kind of talk about the hard parts of motherhood, which I just find so funny when you're just like gaslighting. And I know everyone says gaslighting these days, but like gaslighting fertility and miscarriages as being negative or whatever. And then you're like, oh, yeah, but this is hard. I want to be like, nope, it can't be hard. You have to have a better mindset.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say the point about the...
So Lauren Bosstick also says that the baby blankets at the hospital give your baby eczema. In an episode that she is talking about fertility and miscarriages being fear-mongering, that isn't a direct statement that you're going to make. I will tell you, I have had miscarriages, I've had fertility issues. My 2 babies never had eczema. They're children who don't have eczema. We use the shit out of those blankets.
And it really scared me. And I was like, she got me. The fear-mongering, it worked. Because right away, I'm like, shit, my youngest has eczema and I used the baby blanket. I gave her eczema. What the heck? Why did I not know this? Like, and then when we started talking before the podcast, Sammy was like, yeah, none of mine have eczema. I was like, oh yeah, my other 2 don't have eczema. Okay.
And we use those blankets because, when you pay for everything in your hospital room regardless.
Yeah.
So I told Mario that when we were leaving. So I said, take all the things. He took 50 baby blankets, like thinking he was doing the right thing.
But why wouldn't he buy the $200 blanket that she recommends?
Oh yeah. So she recommends, she says you have to get this AU blanket or something, and I went and looked it up. The cheapest one was $160, but $10 for shipping, or you could spend $200 and get. So I'm like, you're telling
no, we're stealing all the shit from the hospital room because we just had a baby and it's expensive.
So I'm fear-mongering and I'm being negative by talking about my very real miscarriages and fertility issues that I am having. But you are saying that you absolutely cannot use that blanket because it will give your baby eczema. And so instead, you need to buy this $200 blanket. Lauryn Bosstick, I've been a big fan. This is getting
You got
hard.
the anxiety girlies hard with that one. You
Yeah,
got me.
So now who's fear-mongering? I'm sorry.
Oh.
And we used the shit out of those blankets. Things that were hard. It was brutal to experience that complete drain of energy. She's talking about being pregnant, and that was really hard for me to process. And these are like real moments, but at this point, it's very hard to like listen to them say something is hard, which I agree with them.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, this was like the most shocking thing is that she was unbelievably constipated. So she said she wasn't consuming enough content about being constipated because that was like a really big deal, that things that women have to worry about. Like, and it's just, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Talk about constipated, but you can't just invalidate a miscarriage and talk about how hard your constipation was. Like, I don't know.
That is the most insane, like, we need more content about constipation so that I can feel more validated about my constipation and my pregnancy. But if it was a loss of a baby, it would be different. Don't talk about that so that, what?
I know. It was like, and it was a lot of like, exactly, by your third pregnancy and like, just wait, which all those comments, I'm just like, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is so at the beginning when I talked about things that people don't talk about, this is where like I just felt like at the end, like the podcast just, y'all are making no sense at this point. So
I stopped listening.
She stopped listening. It was hard. So Shannon says she hates when people say things people don't talk about. What are you talking about? Everyone talks about everything now. And they both had this moment like, that's so true. Everyone talks about everything now, and like especially with pregnancy, which I do think is true. Like that line
I think
of like,
people are talking about more.
yeah. But at the beginning, so Lauren's whole point is that she literally says, this is a direct quote, people aren't talking about this, about getting pregnant at the first time.
Yeah.
Like, this is your divine purpose, is to be inspiring and talk about this thing that nobody is talking about getting pregnant the first time. But then you guys are literally laughing about how everyone talks about everything, especially in pregnancy. I'm like, y'all are just not on this. What is happening here?
I don't know.
I know. I just thought that was so funny. All right.
Well, and we do like the podcast. Like, Sammy's been a fan for like a decade.
Yeah.
But I do want to just like make it clear, we're not talking about this podcast to be like, oh my gosh, look at what they said. We're talking about this podcast in hopes that somebody that saw it, that felt invalidated or like hush hush about your miscarriage, feels a little bit more validated here.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Lauryn Bosstick, I would love to have a conversation with you. I've been a big fan of you for a long time, but I do think that this is an important conversation. Yeah, and I just feel like she feels so strongly about this, and her points are so strong. And like you said, she has a big
huge
platform,
following. Yeah,
and she's putting out these things that you're not one in the 4 pregnancies. Like,
we've seen so many big steps lately, like with more education with like women and like women feeling like empowered to like share their stuff, and shutting it down hurts. It hurts. And
I've
never even had a miscarriage, and shutting it down hurts.
Because you're a woman who, like, it's a sisterhood. You're, like, supporting. Like, these conversations are helpful. You have 3 girls.
Yeah.
I do think that this is important, and it is such a big platform that she has.
And because it's such a big platform, some people really do just blindly listen and soak it in. And we talk about this a lot, but, like, being mindful about what you are soaking in on social media is so huge. And I think there's just so many people that blindly soaked this in.
Yeah.
And I think debunking it isn't like, hey, we're hating on these women. Debunking it is, no, consider this. Consider what you're taking in.
I've literally said, like, on my vision board was to, like, do a podcast with Lauryn Bosstick. To, like, I've been a fan of hers, and I do think that's really important, is anyone's content that you're consuming, you do always have to not just blindly follow, because she did another one. I actually didn't even listen to that episode, but I know that I just knew it was going to be too much for me at the time.
Yeah.
And then, but posting it again, I was just like, okay, we've got to talk about this, because my red flag is going up on this one. And
if I see her in public, I'll fangirl so hard. Yeah. But I
mean,
don't agree with this
one. It would be awesome to have a conversation with her, like, honestly and openly. And, like, again, I think the experiment that we did of scrolling your phone, and looking at it from a different perspective,
Everyone should go do that.
everyone should do that. Scroll your phone, and of course it's different if you're looking up pregnancy content or if you're looking up fertility content. But if you're just like a normal person who's not looking for that content, scroll your phone and look at it from both perspectives and see what you see.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you, it is pregnancy.
It really is.
Which is amazing, and that's great, and that's positive, and love it. Cool. But it's also positive to see women talking about their journeys honestly.
Yeah.
To wrap this up, Lauryn Bosstick, like, share your truth, right?
Truth.
Your content about getting pregnant the first time, all 3 times is great.
Yes.
Share it if that's important to you. But if by doing so you feel like you need to bash other women, to speak your truth, to share your truth, then girl, that's not your truth.
If your truth silenced their truth, it's not a truth.
They're not a truth.
No.
Period.
Period.